Kêu mà là số thế này ta ngờ là số tại đây chắc là là phong một chuỗi giống gì yếu à tại đây nhưng mà phong một chuỗi giống gì quý số à và thì nào ta tại trong thiên dụ thế này dụ chế luôn để chắc là chim bồ này dụ ba thậm chí à chế đấy thế luôn để chắc là chim bồ này cố sống yên mi làm mà tham bát đấy tại thế cố sống yên mi làm mà tham bát đấy cố sống yên mi làm mà tham bát thế này ଦୁଇ thằng nhóm môn để chơi thế deux de nhóm môn tham chỉ giả đồ thì chắc là chim bồ này thì làm mà tham bát thì làm này đi na và deux de nhóm môn tham chỉ giả đồ đấy deux de nhóm môn tham chỉ làm bát giả đi vào đấy làm bát giả đi vào đấy有天把没背，有天讲错对不？那用个的是当地种的是，有天讲错对不当地，这中学那没把这边，我这中那咱巧都去不去，那没周边的，你把上节是这种的是，我那么周边巧都去不了嘛，那没把巧都去不，巧吧这那么的。
So with the quote from Mahamudra that we left off with earlier, then there's the kind of the remaining lines of that quote, which are all so this non-elaborated Mahamudra that transcends the intellect is the indivisibility of the Lama's enlightened body, speech, and mind. And as long as a practitioner remains within the realization of that essence, then all of the afflictive emotions, all of the maras are spontaneously conquered or subdued. And so this is the ocean that is the self-nature of qualities. Or it is the self-nature of the ocean of qualities. And if one accomplishes, or if one practices in this way, accomplishing that essence, then this is the supreme meaning of the unsurpassed Guru.
thì nó ra chính thằng tiền bị làm mà bây giờ mong muốn nào rồi này chính thằng tiền bị làm mà thế ra chỉ vào chỗ rồi nó ra lắp bên thì yang nhẹ cái số rồi chỉ số đồng lắp bên thì đồng yang nó nhẹ cái gì là và thế tham thế Gong đi na sang chế đông cái用天的khán giả thì gì sống được đấy 강사 티지 바초 상지 동 요한테 탐지 대 강사 티지 신데레스 와 제탄 다던 거랑서 남한테라 제탄 지나다제 전주 여러자 디디도 직송자 거면 안다고 thấy 와 세네 안 니에들이 니카 거면 니카 거면 와세 신초비야 필요자로 니디 사도 짐발라 거면 사베 네칼라 짐발로 거면 초바 표베 기내다 서와 다리 디디디 직속 거면 또 수르반데 피네 그냥 저도 차파 예파 거면 이제 용도 차파 예파 배창 점으로 소진 좀 쓰고 없나 꼬라치야 네 인스 어떤 좀 요러 or thing do the thing around so Karisana, Kaduna, Lama, so Samki, June chart of ya. Nancy Tamchi Lama chart of ya. What in the Chonsona then? Charles Simbodo Patia Lela or Sare.
So also in the Atikupe Ju, or a particular tantra, it says this lama, our lama, who is endowed with such kindness, if by meditating upon the lama who is endowed with great kindness, abiding at the crown, or abiding in the center of the heart, or in the space in front, all of the, through doing so, all of the enlightened qualities of the 1,000 Buddhas will be developed or will arise. And so when we, during the daytime, it is said that you should continually meditate on the Guru abiding above your crown. As you're falling to sleep, by meditating on the Guru abiding at the heart center, then this helps to bring one into the experience of clear light during sleep. And then as you drink and eat, you should visualize the Guru at the throat level. And then everything that you eat and drink becomes an offering. And so generally, for the purpose of supplication, most commonly we meditate on the Guru abiding at the crown. And this is, how when supplicating, the best way to meditate on the Guru. And when walking or going anywhere, if you meditate on the Guru abiding above, like your right shoulder, then wherever you go becomes a circumambulation. Wherever you go, whatever you do, then you're circumambulating the Guru. And so to kind of meditate on the Lama in these various ways, according to different circumstances, then it helps to always remember and never be separate from the Guru. And so this is the way to, continuously practice throughout all one's activities.
Can't young minis, can't young, that's Sam Nero, Karen Swin Rogin, and Nyima is. Can't young minis, that's Sam Nero, Swiss Karen Rona, Nyima is. Lame Tunta, Dambatas, Lame Tuntas, and Talamatel, so Lama Chokum was Tongoris, Today Mohusta, Lama Tato Mohu, the Chokum was Tongoris, or teach Chokum was Lama Chokum was Tonada. Ranks on them solishes, what the ranks on them tinipol then Samkin the Rochata Chimbot, a daughter of Grace on the one.
And so essentially, when meditating on Mahamudra, for all of the enlightened qualities to arise, mainly one remains with ongoing devotion, with in non-distracted meditation on the Guru, perceiving, all of his enlightened qualities of body, speech, and mind, the activities and qualities as fully perfected purity. And so, also as it says in the Hevajra Tantra, the co-emergent essence is not something that arises from anywhere else. It is not to be found or located anywhere, but it is through following or relying on the Lama till the end that one realizes this sublime essence. And so what is meant by following the Lama to the end or relying on the Lama to the end, it's referring to the end sort of development of devotion, which views the Lama as the Dharmakaya, because the true essence of the Lama is Dharmakaya, and so that is the ultimate meaning of the Guru, is the Dharmakaya, which is none other than the true essence of your own mind. And so it is through your own merit and the quality of your devotion, kind of this ultimate level devotion, that Mahamudra is truly realized.
Tamse go be ju tin kar zong zo be ren ba karo wa zu zi wa pang den na ma tan ba xiam ji mom cha ni jin cha yang me pos wa ta zo rem te kar wa ma bo ze gom zo rem te kar wa ma bo ze gom ze zo rem ya zo rem zo be ba wa zi yu ring bo gom kar wa ma bo gom te ne du zi si yin wa cham chi pa pang de gom na te le tan na ma ti ge ji zam ra mo khu ji na ze zo nam che yo re zong
Chig, Muguji.
Or Rang Samji Lama Shane, this Gom Jamna to Zonam Cheres. Or that's someone to ban on Karsena, the Zoris. Rang Nika, Rang Savi Lama Gom, not the Chanjo to Gres, Sanje to Gres. What in the Sanje to Gres, what in or Monsarchimbo, more of Sama to Gres, more of Sama. What in the top to Gres. Gosong to Lama Yermi but him to drop to Gres.
Then he get the Damse Kubejula, the Chig Mugu China.
Zorem Garwa Mambo Gombali, Lama Giji Chena, Zonam Chegres.
Oh, okay.
Zorem Garwa Mambo, Maying Bagomna, Tele Lama Giji, some rank Yanki, or rank Savi Lama Gomna, or Tene Zonam Chegre.
And so, as it says in the Tantra of a kind of arranged samayas, maybe, or Damse Kupeju, by a single moment of generating the purest devotion toward the Guru is greater merit than many kalpas of meditating on the completion stage. And so, also, as it says in the Guhya Samaja Tantra, by meditating on the Guru at the heart, then one will arrive at Buddhahood. And all of the extraordinary attainments or siddhis, the wonderful attainments, will be achieved, and one will accomplish the Guru and remaining indivisible from his enlightened body, speech, and mind.
Tera Hombo Mambo Yusarwa. Pombo se Chuchin the Ura. How could you wait?
Dinda de Penamnicham Poto.
Hombo Chuchin.
Oh, Pombo.
Oh, Hombo Chuchin and Rosarwa. Ponzoke Mutsi Chison, Namshi, so go ne? Go ne, the Halar, Barson, Halaruda. Shank to do, based on the Shank Kajaton Jole, Tenzena Low Shusarwa. They Hombo to the Conso Hako Shusarate. Yadene Chavatela. Tachu Digum Sank Lama race. Then Digum Sampova get out for your race. Tachu Pova jobs, there are this. They cook Pova Jasho Samarwa. then the gonna go to series. And the Gong Gong to the Peme Gyaltsen setting in Mandala.
Chamgun Peme Gyaltsen?
They go Peme Gyaltsen, Drink or is out, the Zakona Teba Chimpoti. Says that. They go, then Tama pay the Jarvis. Tis out of the other. The change with cars in Napia, bar stations. But that they could, to Uncle Shake and Marwashatane. Taco the Mohuchimbo Sarwa. Taco the Jamgo Peme Gyaltsen, Peme Gyaltsen, the Chima J. Sar,
sheets are named in Namshi.
Namshi Timothy. Hombo is so changing a lot. That's on the Gong Slama, the Gong Poa get out of this. Show Poa could jobs the hours. Take Poa Shigamara. That could Gigi. Go to Pio Marada, Kulamata Seroa. Shut it, Peme Gyaltsen, they could 2 months they saw that I can. 2 months it's at the pegs.
So there's a story about a Drikung monk who was traveling on the road and had a premature death. He died, and there were some Bombo practitioners in the area, and so they, through their rituals and practice, they captured his consciousness, or they sort of lured his consciousness into a wooden vessel with a wooden top. And they said to him, "You're a Drikung monk, and there's nothing more powerful than the Drikung Poa. So you should practice Poa in order to liberate your consciousness." And so the monk actually didn't know how to practice Poa. But hearing that, then he did, he just supplicated his guru, who was the Drikung Kyamgun Peme Gyaltsen. And so he just recited his name over and over, like kind of like a mala's worth of recitations. And then he uttered pate, or he said pate. And with that, then the top of the wooden vessel flew off of the pot. And so it was indicative, of like that he accomplished the Poa, and that was due to the power of his devotion, of his strong devotion.
Oh, that is Chichandexari. It's an Nipa Zorem Rua. Zorem Nipa Zorem Jezons Ni Zorem Tela Ni Yores. This one. Marima Nipa Zoremnes. That Zorem Telan Jitan Wonteson was that the Simi Namka Yamfala, Namtorito Martina, Chini Sakar Macha, Sam Matodala, Nathan Zosakas on Gortara, Sabaton Gorti,
Simni Namka Yambala,
Namtorito Martina, Chini Sakar Machave, Sam Matodala, Nathan Zosakas.
And so then next is the completion stage. And so with the completion stage, there are the lines or the verse from Jigten Sumgun's Vajra song, which is, if the in the vast expanse of the mind, or the nature of the mind, if the clouds of amassing thoughts are not cleared away, then the stars and planets will not shine forth, or will not become visible. Therefore, you should apply yourself in meditating on this essence of the mind, or in the non-conceptual mind. You should apply yourself in meditating upon the non-conceptual mind.
Oh, that is Zorem Telani, is Roa. Or Nyamja, the Jetop Nipo. Nyamja Singomja, the Jetop and the Jolam Roa. Or the Nyamja, the Jetop Niores. Or Tambo Nyamja, the Lani Yoris. Or Dingenzi Gumyada, Thing or Chuchia. Or the Tambo Dingenzi Gumyata, Yani Yoris. Or Tela Tan Sema Gent and Sema Miba, that's a Chineda one, Sema Gent and Sema Miba.
So then there are the two stages connected with the completion stage. So that is the meditative absorption and post-meditation. And then with respect to the meditative absorption or samadhi, there are two. So there is first there is developed the shamatha with characteristics and shamatha without characteristics.
Sema jang zoram senserwa wa tambo de ngombo lo drop te zon res ransem do ne machi ransem de tambo machi ba res do man machi ba
Ransem
tomba ni rangi se tomba ni rangi no wa tomba ni rangi res sem de wa te ndu wa te tendu nyamna chi ne jor tes te nyamna chi ne jor je yoro wa te khare se na Ong jung op chi ya zam gum ya ma res mei zum mei chi chen ju da ya chen ju gum ya ma res mei chi o par dan so ro ngop chen ju gum ya zam sai ma res wo de ne an jian ya chen bo chi chung chung chi mei wo chen ju chi de gum ya ma res an sam sam jie jie chi sam sam gu gu chi chen ju gum ya ma res
sam sam
su bo ya jie wo chi no ya jie jie chi sam sam gu gu chi What do man on the wa? Chirok utran jug mares. What a non semt data gores. Chiro ut kitchen mares, so the non semt da gores on the wa.
So nunity shine marwa, sit shine.
That shine not at home, that's he tomboty la in la.
Yeah, yin shine la in bay.
That shine that's a magic last one.
Lasso. Then chu you mata rang simnata. Lasso. So that which is with characteristics. So first.
Shinere that. Semajan shine se last one.
Yeah, shinere.
Dingenzi said, no dingenzi shinere.
Yeah, lasso. So first it is like a type of calm abiding or shamatha, but not maybe what one is used to, but with characteristics first, which induces, meditative absorption or samadhi. So not knowing at first, the true nature of one's own mind, that mind is that the essence of mind is emptiness. First, or in order to understand this, to know this, then first a yogi who is practicing shouldn't meditate on the inhalation or the exhalation. So you don't need to focus on the breath. Nor do they have to assume the various gazes and practice using different gazes, and nor do they, need to practice with different postures. But it sounds like actually he said sometimes sitting in a way that is kind of hunched over, and sometimes sitting in a way that is straight, but not looking at anything and at any, not paying, using any outer object. Instead, one should turn one's awareness to the inward object of one's own mind.
Te chi du menyam klong so wan de to gre zong do. Wa de ne ge se so ya chambo chi go res. Wa de du te zong zi klong se te so wan du to gre res. Wa de ne jimba zi sa zi go zam chi go res. Wa de chi du qian ju se qian ju ya long wan du go res.
Garegi wang? Oh, Jin.
Qian ju. 我这本吧，这将来的那种去过的本吧，我这去的切不进去弄些，往对头过来是。我真的这咋才去个吧？买那才怕得个吧？ May not say you, Shepa so want to get it, Shepa Yora, or Shepa want to use. Lucem these, that's it. Yabo so Yabo Dembo Dina, the Lunate so want to grace.
Lucem, yeah.
And what the Corantin Namajo to Yabo so Dina, the Luke needs so want to grace on the one.
Lugi.
Luni. That Lu Shiran Parma say Dembo do to be under. Then do so want to show Sarawa.
So the posture is the 7-point posture of Vairochana. And so each of the different points of the posture have a particular effect on bringing under control or pacifying the different types of winds. So first, the legs folded in the Bhadra position have the effect of pacifying or bringing under control the pervasive winds. The hands resting in meditative equipoise below the navel have the effect of bringing the digestive winds under control or pacifying the digestive winds. The spine being straight has the effect of bringing under control the life force winds. The chin slightly tilted down has the effect of bringing under control the ascending winds, and the elbows kind of resting loosely, kind of with some space between the torso and the elbow, has the effect of bringing the evacuating winds under control. And the gaze pointed down off the tip of the nose has the effect of bringing consciousness under control. And so in this way, when the body, the posture of the body is stable and established, then this also has the effect of naturally bringing about some stability in the mind.
Same chance, za chance, lu chance, za chance, same to need to repair, so what in you need to catch him for your reason. In other, can you give a Jirum Jatum, Jirum Jamaton, take up Chaga, Super Chambo Chidin and Regre. The Sinina, can you give a Chambo D to him, or give a national select and you do an answer. What you do, that's a bit of Maltesco, that can do that in. So Nyamnancy about near to be a hundred data. Or that's into the Nandakizawa.
And so it is often said, if the body is straight, then the channels are straight. And if the channels are straight, then the winds can naturally flow, or the winds are straight. And if the winds can flow unobstructedly, then or are sort of straight, then the mind can also abide, or the mind becomes straight. And so for the first, the folded legs of the Vajra posture, if that isn't possible for people, then it's also okay to sit in a chair. And so whatever, essentially, if there's any aspect of the posture that becomes painful or that is somehow not possible because of your physical condition, then one doesn't need to see that as like an obstacle to the meditation. One can sit, assuming whatever elements of the posture that you can incorporate, but most importantly, to make sure that you can do so comfortably in a way that is not causing any injury to your body.
Then that's it. That the Luni number not the children chin it. The jump road is jobs and road Sam G. That's some Chantamji don't Hinegum Gizam or Ron Lute Yedamji, Yedam Sozi and Dip. The Jiwon was a Lama Gom. The Yana Dumban Puna, Yana Dumban Pura, Choban Pu. Then Surwan, the Zanga Chelsea Chimbo Chos. Dopa J. Shaw, then J. So. Sorbatse, Jason Terne, the Yamnachi Gores only.
And so once you have assumed the 7-point posture of Vairochana, then you go for refuge and you generate the mind of awakening, establishing the motivation to engage in this practice for the sake of all beings, for the welfare and benefit of all beings. And then with that, you start to develop the samadhi that is based on calm abiding or shamatha meditation. And that this begins with first meditating on your guru at the crown and making offering the 7 branches and supplicating that realization or experience may arise in the mind stream. So now we can conclude here for today, and we'll address some of the remaining questions that we had from yesterday. So the next question was, in Wednesday's presentation, the text that was mentioned was the jewel garland for the fivefold Mahamudra by Gyaltsen Sumgun. Is this a Norbu Deniti? Yeah. Tene Kongsol Gyaltsen Sumgun Som Jakbeki Norbu Tringwe Chachingadin Norbu Tringwe Gi Sen Yimba Tsung Yorwa Yinang Gyaltsen Sumgun Marwa.
Sula.
Yeah.
Nane Mare Tada Nurunchima Jidang Chachingadia Nurunchima Kahi Doa. That Nurunchima Tambo Tende Ibada. Ne Tada Chujero Konzamrawa. Otiji la Gungari Janke on the Ruchima to Yori. Nisa Yosat Pecha Jiduni. Oten Jela Tihan, this Jishin, the Resituraka Yori. Or that Jidan Ruchima Kahios, that then Zamni Chujero Kong. And then the Ruchima Bachi.
So actually, this isn't but from Gyaltsen Sumgun. There are actually, it is the jewel garland for the fivefold Mahamudra, and there are a number of jewel garlands, he says. But this one is composed by Zamling Chugi Gyalpo. And there is, which is really, and it's really the first. It's the earliest. There's a second one. Or also, actually, he's known as Dharma Radza. So you might be able to find it more easily that way. I don't believe it has been translated into English. We tried to find, a translation, and we weren't able to find one. So I don't believe it has been translated into English. Maybe at some point we can translate it into English, but right now it's just in Tibetan. There's also a second jewel garland by Kunga Rinchen, and later on a more extensive jewel garland by Rigzen Chugi Drakpa. But this one is the one that comes from Chugi Gyalpo, and it is the earliest version. I think he said from like the 1300s.
Samja Samsunga Matakano.
Garela? Yeah, so he was born in 1332. 35. Sorry. So is that good? Yeah. And so the next one is, could you please go over the 37-point mandala offering? When we do the mandala accumulation, should we use the 7-point or 37-point mandala offering? So, dini the mandal sumju so dumba yang tenda the tena degerebe. Tini yang tenda di ngato ngondro chedu tini di sombu dumba chegowa yang na di dunchu sumchu so dun chena gare sako.
Tene ngato tata tuso shira mandwa. Sumsu dun te tuso yungsa marji. Soso yang de ger ndong tuso ndong jeli ndong china so dun china re srwa. Sai chini nena tata jidang ngondro jidu ma che sumsu dun te pu gres.
Dini yang chaksal che goa la go
Correct.
Dini yang chaksal che goa dinda pena yang char dinda shimba di nang chi yang char yo marawa de thing ma chik tun chik thing ma chik che dini chaksal che di labna.
Ale that's chitang ze yorwa. Menje nga zo ka ye cha che do menje nyam cha che do menje thangbo ze phu sum sub du phu. Tara sha na cha che ndu di si la na ro je yona. Ti la phe nyu cha che go di si sra ya menje phu. Wa te chi li lu so jen do. Je ne ta menje samen te du ye do thangbo sum sub du su go na le de du go du nyam chang ka cha za go du. That's
so. So as far as demonstrating how to do the 37-point mandala offering, we don't have a lot of time. So, and that would be pretty time-consuming to demonstrate that. So better would be, maybe if you specifically, if you're going to do that practice, to individually get instruction on it, or maybe it could be taught in a public setting, at another time. But right now there isn't time for it. And generally in our tradition, what we do is the 37-point mandala offering. And there are two ways of that we practice mandala, two versions. So one is that there's at the outset of each session, there is a 37-point mandala that is arranged, and then the accumulation becomes prostration. So as you do prostrations, half prostrations, and you recite the mandala prayer, then you also offer some rice to the mandala each time when you go down. And so that each one becomes like a mandala offering. The other way is to do the 37-point mandala offering at the outset, at the beginning of the session, and then as the support, and then to accumulate the 7-point mandala offering again and again. So that's the one that's maybe most commonly known as with the 7 points again and again. So then the next question is, if I'm not able to hold the mandala because of pain in my impaired hand, how can I do the mandala practice? Dini di midi chikchina di lakpa na yo sarwa. Dini lakpa na ne dini di pache mandal zen tu gyo mare. Dini gandri che tu gare.
Oda lakpa na le dubo chun zi tu min da pacha di pu dan le.
La.
Lakpa na ne. Chun ja to bia rewan jong mina. De par jok cha zi rewan met sa pi mendo. Ja tom ne ya ge res. Nyima lama khoma zo men ran ne zo zang ma so hi rewan de lu chi ge rewa. Ti din de fai di de fai cha dong de an de lu chi di. Ho nam shi chamo rewa. O ten lu chi zi li lu zo do ju do.
So if you really if there's no possibility that you can hold the mandala, then you can put it on a table and do it that way. But it's definitely more beneficial if you can hold it, to hold it. But otherwise, if there's no way around it, then you can put it on the table. In the past, many masters who really practice mandala, when they would from cleaning. So from cleaning the mandala, there are so many times the base. The inside of their arm would become completely covered with sores. It would become bloody and full of sores, and just completely, especially because the weather in Tibet is so cold. So they would do it with the inside of their wrist. They would clean until the wrist became totally covered in open wounds, and then they would turn their arm over and do it with the other side until that one became covered with wounds. And so in that way, it is can be a pretty hardcore practice. And so then the next one is, when meditating, I am directly gazing down toward my nose, but am distracted by one of my eyes that does not work properly. What do you advise? Dini Gong Gyatu, Dini the Mik Natse Tagi Yorwa. Yena Yang the Kongi Mik Chig Yabo Yomare. Dini Di Yang Tessa Garela Gogore Kong Digi Dunda La Yingyore. Kong Tessa Digi Dunda La Yingyore. They make the Korla Samlotan, Rewa Chagi Yorwa. Dini Gandhi Chego Sare.
That's enriching and the main that's Shirati took him and Onaroha. The Matom Nandri, so that's what my aim bachi. Send it as in Yamlan to Chigroa. The main kidness the Matom Nake or Marizam. The cases Marizo to catch you the so Sam Gom Jatia, Sam Gom Jata, to catch you raise.
So he said, if that is then if that gaze is particularly distracting for you, then you can try another gaze, or close your eyes or do whatever is kind of more effective to just really focus on the mind. So the main thing is to sustain non-distraction. And so whatever it is that helps your mind to practice, then you should practice or assume the gaze, that is easiest for you in that way. Then the next one is, can you teach us how to increase the way of practice? Can you teach us how to increase the jambatse mepa? So you mean immeasurable love? Yes. Dini the jambatse me pelya ki tapshi yaksho gare yore. So he said he went into that in great detail yesterday. So he feels that was covered. I have the ashes of my parents and grandparents. What would be an auspicious or good thing to do with them? Dini kungi pama dang pama gi gare tela yorwa tela. Dini kungso pento yaki chidu dini gare chego gare yaksho gare yore gare chego sare.
That's humble Chambat de la Roa. Chambat, Jitanga to Chamba Kazanta, Chin then Jagger is a last one. This also that carry that so telling us to Manda, Lavnaroa, Martel be a Gaji Chimbo in some. This also Yabu Hakovachine. Tell Hakon, the Marta Deva then go, so Gaji Chimbo, Deva then Yavoroa. What the Deva then, something Kaduna to Jay Marti Gaji Chambachi, Tereti, Yan some Dana, this. The Chamber Shambatsimi. No, Tenruchin, it is Yawoji on the Simjatan Peria Kazanja, you are, or Tenrucon Rickmerezamdo. What's in it? That's a Trondonia Stendoa. What the Tango Malam Ruchi, or the Kayeti Chumo Kangi on them door. The towns said that they won't meet Hakumara, the Pakiano, the Kanduya, and they say so Malam Dachi, Nanda Dona degree, Sungano Yura, Manudon, the Tenruton degree.
So he said, to go back to the question about meditating on immeasurable love, he said the main thing is this key point of developing appreciation by reflecting on the kindness of your object. So like the kindness of your mother, if you're using your mother as the object of your loving kindness. And then once a real feeling of gratitude has arisen, then you direct your mind toward the wish for her to be happy, to really making like that aspiration, that wish, may this being, this person be happy, have happiness. And then to sort of contemplate or direct the mind again and again in this way. And then, as he said before, to gradually expand that affection out so that it becomes immeasurable. And then regarding the question about the ashes, he said, so you can decide, maybe where what to do with the ashes. But the main thing is if you, for instance, leave them in a certain place, like some people, for instance, pour ashes into the Ganges River. But as you do so, and in general, even if you keep them, the main thing is to do, lots of prayers of dedication and aspiration for them, and to recite a lot of Mani mantra. And then there was another question. So can you give us instruction on the 3 Trukor exercises you mentioned that can be done before meditation on compassion in the special ngundro? Tini di karsang chi
tan Trukor de kasang la song la chi zai ne mei tin ne ta da di ngush di na ba da si go se la song
karela
mei tin ngush di na ba mei la song ka zong wa chi de ne tan Trukor kasang zai la ro nga zo de mei tin ngush di na ba chi dong ba terwa wa chi de nga Trukor de ne Luke to go to mate to Royal Chambo Chin a dinner, mate to these mates on that and she do.
No.
The for couple of do that she. Not to go to Dal Nobachi Bandanam Yanges, Dal Nobachi Bandanam Yanges, or the 2 months ago, just as it's that was the last one.
Dala Dangwa or
Bandanam Yanges. Sam ji Trukon da zai dal noba chi yan noba me ji rawang yo mares le de nyom wa so na ngal noba me ji rawang yo mares wa te wa koran di noba chi bin drivel de ne da tarung yan song som ji je de gres wa mare langdor ne ma she ne de noba chi chores wa langdor ne ma she ne noba chi chores noba chi bin drivel de yan song som la so je gres wa te ne noba chinken de zong ye tsen kurba thoma mi be nge amares wa te le amate la hu ropa majina su ropa chi zam te ne ying ye de so de dong art che ya wa noba tin drivel nge song so me che le wa te du zam ne te ne ni de gong go la so
Kung ta de mik de ya boko zum dela ta
da mai so ne ngo so tala ya de mik se ta ngoch de la chi na dir se la so These much did number
yeah, okay, yeah. Micchu. And so this was it's not he mentioned these 3 kind of Trukor exercises. That's just the name that's given, having to do with like the posture or the activities of body, speech, and mind. And so first is like the Trukor of the body is to meditate on compassion in such a way that it actually causes you to cry. So it is to shed tears with the body, with the eyes. And then second, with the speech, is to recite the prayers of compassion, like for instance, the all mother sentient beings, especially those enemies who hate me, etc. Or no, I have compassion for all those who have harmed me. So actually, that is what is recited. Is I have such great compassion for those. I have compassion for those who have harmed me, or for those harm doers. And then you do like a mala of that recitation. And then the third is inwardly to reflect on the fact that those harm doers are really in a helpless situation. They're at the mercy of their own karma and afflictive emotions. And so it isn't really like they're not to blame. And the result, if they really are harming others, the result is that they will be reborn in the 3 lower realms. And so not understanding what to adopt and what to discard, then they have wandered endless since beginningless time and cyclic existence, and they have also been your own mothers. your own mother at various times or at some point in time or another. And so with that feeling of closeness that they're actually your own mother, then you have the intention to help them, to benefit them. And so these become sort of the 3 stages of body, speech, and mind, or the 3 kind of postures of body, speech, and mind that assists in the development or meditation on compassion.
That's how.
So I don't understand, I don't understand this last question, which is when do we know that our guru lets us go? Tini ngatso de lama yang pacher di yana Gyaltsen de pena gadiena lama de megi lama tingogyo mare mangpo sungyorwa. Tini de maung ba yang de natokpa chena tini yang pena rang la tingogorwa. Tini yang de lama la yang de pena nyamdu de megoa gi dutsu lama rangi ya da chirang de nga sala de gogomado ta chuba yena tini digi dutsu lepa yena gande hakogare. Re lepa yena na tenda nga yapo lapsame
dan risa inga ha oh te jeton te wa lama da lama nyam ti yonyan yong zi ro me yo ma nyong zi ro nyam ti de le ro ting zang na da zi pa zong zhe ba qi wa da de wo yo ro Nyima yin zhe ba qi ya da de wo ma long ba ta ring wo na lam ji ma tu ge mi xie jiu ma ra bei ta ring bo zong zhuo song na oh te di zo te lama khadui na surban de go shore la shore ro oh te ne ta so so ki siam ki ne lo sia bo do lama ta ran sem yer mi ba ko siam ki ne lo sia zhe chi mo ngo sto so na de lama ran sem yer mi ba do go ro ti gan so te te lama sem dian chu he ro oh jedan ti oh ten ju sa ta
So he said, there's as far as like having a physical connection or closeness of proximity to the guru, there are many different ways and this might occur, ways that this might occur in dependence upon different, individuals' karma. But actually we're in this situation now where we have like really unbelievable access to our teachers. In the past, really, it was very difficult. Often the guru was really far away. It was difficult to really get any access at all. And so mainly the reliance on the Lama had to do with and has to do with, the inner reliance of the mind or supplication, connecting through supplication. And so the way that you kind of know, then there's this sort of shift that happens in practice where if you realize the true nature of your own mind and you really know the mind of the Lama and your own mind to be indivisible, then at that point, like mainly you rely on your own mind as the guru. You're no longer as reliant upon the external guru.
타보를 못 제일 판조ren 카로라 대송 다치나 사전 된 고음죠 송세 사전자면 다 감자서 사자디 롱대야와 어떤 예만 이제 다치나 처자 친구 내로 샘 내로 통그레스 어디 간 머겐 아이나데스 상제무 흔두시 제우레스 다데기 만다바레스 지나 대반 투모만 이와 제우레스 어종도 어데 텐dun다스 제효사 샘 내로 통나데 데 라마라스 예르미 반도 대반 투모만 제야노 What's into your server?
So Gyaltsen Milarepa said to Drupon Rinpoche or Gampopa before he left, he gave him the instruction to meditate in various places, and he said, so he kind of gave this, instruction or premonition, and he said, as you meditate, at one point, you will see the absolute nature, and at that time, you will know or you will understand myself, this old man, to be the Buddha in person. You will have the perception of me, this old man, to be the actual Buddha. And at that point, there will be like an extraordinary type of faith that has never before arisen for you or arisen in your mind. And this will occur upon realizing the Lama and your own mind and the Buddha to be an indivisibility. And so that is kind of the point at which like the most powerful level of devotion occurs. And at that point, there's sort of this understanding that the external Lama is not really what is most important, but actually that he is actually the true essence of your own mind. There are actually some Yomare. Is there any question that somebody? Yeah. Okay.
Dorjee is re
de Dorjee na
tendu yores. The Ngadian Koran Kanam them Choji Yorwa, or Yom Chat Dorjee Dores, or Jetan the Nazo Junia them Cho Gomiate, Manches Chagurova, or Tendu this Maras Yores.
So yes, that is a difference in the context of practicing Chakrasamvara practicing Chakrasamvara in the context of the Fivefold Path of Mahamudra. In Vajrayogini's hand, there is a Vajra, whereas when she is practiced, as like her own sadhana, she's holding a driko.
Oh, Jatante Tatangadian, Yom Tiki, Shamniki Yak. Gebal Parchu dele, Yom Shabnicha. On Gadian Mambo Jason to read the yes. Shimbata Shab Jan no Chudorwa.
So Gongta, the Chig, the Chitang
Shabze Maria, she have Yam Jan, Shabze to Chu de la Chidorwa, or Julian and I told them Chocomatina, or Gadian Ante on Shabniki so Chu de la Jan or Mares.
So there's also the difference that in different Chakrasamvara sadhanas, like in this one, she has one leg wrapped around the father and the other one is extended parallel to his. And then there are some versions where she has both legs wrapped around the Chakrasamvara, or they're both bent up.
Yeah, Taneta.
So there's one.
Rinpoche, in practicing Guru Yoga, it's very difficult to maintain two visualizations in front and oneself as the deity and then the Buddha as your guru in the front. Is it okay to not do one of those visualizations, or is it most important that you do both?
So he said, no, it isn't like you need to choose one or the other, but actually you can, like, at first you focus on generating yourself in the form of the Yidam deity, and then when you're visualizing the guru like in the space in front, then that's what you're mainly focusing on, and you kind of drop the focus of the visualization of yourself as the deity, and mainly what you're focusing on is the frontal visualization during that time. And then sometimes if that becomes difficult to maintain, or then it is okay to sometimes go back to like arising or like focusing on yourself as the Yidam deity, and then kind of go back. You can alternate in that way, but mainly throughout the practice, you're mainly focusing on the guru in front. Mainly it's the Lama.
So is it wrong to focus on the form of your guru rather than the Buddha as your guru? That makes sense. So you're supposed.
The Lama yang pena rang gizu la yoba nangshin the na nangshin gomna norwa rebe the yinji menji the Sanjay Shakya tuba yimba gomna.
Tanga so na mene jo the ma ches jo zo de gong bi ro. 근데 안데 보면 미나데 다리 라선 라마니 카로 곰나 되게서라
라메 쿠주 데 공데
담마바 엘레요
제나 데게레베 양나 데나데 인지민지 산데 샤게 두바이엠바 곰고
다소소 먹고 야고 진 되게래 좀더 자신이네 제가 어떤 되게.
So he said it depends, like if it's easier for you to visualize the guru in his ordinary form and you have really stable devotion, then it is okay to do it that way.
Thank you.
So now we can conclude this session.
Page number 28. Open prayer book.
Page number what?
28.
28.
John Josen Joren Boje Maje Banoje George Gebanyan Barme Bayon Gone Gonda Bevayo.
Okay, so la we do ta. Jidan ti la manager je yoro ngonro kan la managers.
So he just wanted to mention one thing based on the last question, and that is that so in the Guru Yoga that is part of the Ngondro or the preliminaries, you're visualizing yourself in your ordinary form. You're not arising in the form of the Yidam. In the Four-Kaya Guru Yoga, you're the Yidam.
Yeah, okay, thank you.